Hello everyone, welcome to PSIR the 100 Plus channel. This is me, your educator Syed Shujathullah. Today we are going to learn a very important topic that helps you to understand and build a very good base with regard to the topic called as sanctions. Okay, with regard to the topic called as sanctions, because now whatever the geopolitical conditions are there with regard to India or Asian geopolitics or European geopolitics, which is also called as West geopolitics, West Asian geopolitics. If you look at the various geopolitical situation at this point of time, they are very vulnerable. Okay, no one can deny the fact that the geopolitical situation in our across the world is very vulnerable, and in this context you are hearing this particular word on and off in all the newspapers and media channels. So let us now talk about what is the meaning of sanctions and how we can understand it conceptually. Then we'll talk about the sanctions on Russia. Then we'll talk about the sanctions on India. What are all sanctions imposed by various other countries on Russia and also on India? And whatever the sanctions that you are going to learn, no, that sanctions are one of the important tools, instruments in order to put the sanctions also. Okay, right. The United Nations Security Council can take action against any country to maintain or restore international peace and security under Chapter VII of the United Nations Charter. Okay, so it means what? United Nation, okay, can take actions in order to secure what? International peace and security. Okay, all of these are written in what? Chapter 7th of United Nations chapter. What are these sanctions? These actions are nothing but they can also go for what? Sanctions. Always remember this point: sanctions do not involve armed force. No military will be sent in order to maintain international peace and order. Basically, the sanctions are usually in the form of economy, usually in the form of technology, usually in the form of what? Dollars, usually in the form of investment. I'll come to that all of them one by one, but I hope that at this point of time you are very clear about what is the meaning of sanction. It is present in Article 41 of United Nations Charter. Remember this point. Now let us go ahead with the what are the various sanctions has been put by US and its ally countries like NATO on Russia. One more important point I have to tell you: either the United Nations sponsor sanctions will be there, okay, or else a country can also sanction, group of countries can also sanction, or a bloc like SARC, BRICS, they can also collectively put the sanctions on some of the countries. So it means what? Sanctions can be done by United Nations, also can be done by individual countries. That's how we have done on Pakistan. Okay, we have sanctioned everything with regard to Pakistan, with regard to sports sanctions we have put, with regard to investment, with regard to water sanctions. Okay, many other sanctions we have put. So bilateral sanctions are there, collective group sanctions are also there, bloc sanctions are also there, United Nations sanctions are also there. I hope this is all clear to you. Let us go ahead. Okay, right. So US have banned on Russia, we are talking about US have banned, and along with that US we also have you also always need to take the NATO into consideration with the Canada, Australia and the Mexico. They are also part of that particular group only. So at this point of time, what USA and its allies have done is they have banned the imports of Russian liquefied natural gas. It has been told that Russian economy is mainly driven by the exports of oil and natural gas. So if we choke that particular supply and whatever the revenue coming from that, obviously Russia cannot fund its military, cannot fund the various operations, cannot buy or cannot invest in development of new weapons, ammunitions, etc., so and so forth. That is how they want to control Russia with regard to invasion in Ukraine. So they have banned the import of Russian liquefied natural gas into the US and its ally bloc, and also has added port bans on more than 100 new ships. So whatever the Russian ships will be there, no, which are docking in Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean. So wherever they are docking, they have putting sanctions on their docking. It means they are not allowed to trade with regard to ports. This have recently, like yesterday, have increased to nearly about 500 more ships were added. Means that much of ships of the Russian cannot dock in the allies countries of US led. Okay, and another important sanction, this is what sanction on oil and energy, and also sanction on ports. The third important sanction is whatever the operations, it has been believed by US and its allies that Russia is now being transacting more in what cryptocurrency, transacting more on what cryptocurrency. That is the reason the all the transactions, crypto transaction of Russia has been banned. That is the third point. Okay, then the fourth one here is Russia, USA and its allies has prohibited operations into the bloc using Russian payment cards and system. Just like we are having Visa, MasterCard, which we can also use for international purposes, Russia also have that Visa and MasterCard, which cannot be used in other countries now. It means they are actually stressing the people of Russia, Russians actually, who are in different parts of the world. They are trying to intimidate them that see, you cannot use this particular payment system of Russia. Means these people again, what they'll do, they try to persuade the government, they try to write to the government that these are not being accepted. They try to pressurize the government that because of your actions we are been facing lot of issues. So a kind of like political instability and a dissent from the government, for the government from the Russians is being what here proposed, or you can say that advocated. Another important ban is the restrict the provision of artificial intelligence services and high performance computing will not be given to Russia. Means Russian companies will be there. No, they are maybe using what high performance computing. They may be using artificial intelligence of like foreign countries like Germany or France, like that. They will use, no, just like how I am using Canva, how I am using Adobe Premiere, how you guys are using Instagram, etc. So many of such Russian companies also take a lot of services from these high-tech companies of USA and allied nations. They are also being restricted so that these businessmen also should get losses, and they also again pressurize the government of Russia in order to soften their stance with regard to that, because they are feeling what lot of stress. Then another important sanction is widen an export ban to include electronic components. They are not going to give to Russia. Chemicals also they are not going to give to Russia. Metals also they are not going to give to Russia, which are used in what military manufacturing. So you can just see that how very strategically in every area of very important areas they have actually put the sanctions. They have done with regard to energy, which is the main source of Russian revenues. Then they have actually banned the high energy to, they are affecting businessmen, they're affecting payments and card systems, they're affecting the people Russian across the world. Okay, and they are also not giving what electronic components. It means what electrical industry is very important, whether it is manufacturing a smartphone or TVs, or you can say that motherboards, or you can say that coffee machines. Everywhere the electronic components are required. So they are even targeting what FMCG or capital intensive or capital goods industry also. So these are all sanctions has been levied by US and its allies on Russia. Now let us go ahead with what sanctions has been put on India. First of all, with regard to tariff sanctions are there. Okay, India has been facing a lot of tariff sanctions from USA. Now, USA have tariffed 100% on pharma and 50% on other goods, which is actually making the Indian exporters to lose lot of revenue, to lose lot of businesses because of uncompetitive prices in the markets of their countries. Then as because 70% of these visas are given to what the people, the Indians, so they have hiked the fees. So here the people of India got affected. Okay, here with regard to the businessmen have got affected. Not US membership, they are not giving UNSC membership, they are not giving NSG membership. So this UNSC membership is important in order to have a geopolitical influence, and energy membership is important in order to secure what nuclear energy sustainability. It is important. And with regard to normal energy that we use, petrol, diesel, etc., recently, means yesterday or 2 days back only, Nayara Energy, this is one of the Indian company who takes lot of oil from Russia and distribute in our petrol pumps. Okay, so they have been also sanctioned not to buy from Russia. Okay, this the US-led bloc has also compelled is not allowing our companies to use what US dollar financing is not there. They are compelling our oil refineries, including previously largest importer Reliance, they were asked to suspend all the Russian refineries or Russian oil imports. They asked to suspend Reliance, all of its ties with Russia, and the US and its ally asked the Reliance to seek alternatives with regard to their businesses, like you can get from Middle East, you can get from US and other regions, but don't do with Russia. Then recently, this is also very recently, Chabahar port, which is actually we are building, we have built on in the Iran, obviously at the southern side of the Iran, we have built a Chabahar port, and that is one of the mainstay with regard to capturing Central Asian economies or emerging markets in the Eastern European countries. Middle Eastern Economic Corridor is also going from there. So that Chabar port access has also been, once upon a time US has given an exemption to India that you can use the Chabahar port, okay, because it is on Iran, and you know that Iran is also facing the sanctions. So now because of these all chaoticness, what happened is USA has also said India not to use the Chabahar access, is whatever the exemption was given, now the exemption has been removed. Now India is not able to use the Chabahar port, okay, and the investments on the Chabahar port is not being done, okay. That's how they wanted to even drain the Iran with their own economy. I hope these sanctions and what kind of sanctions will be levied, especially on the businessmen, on the people, on the technology, on the ports. So basically economy and politically they want to hit the countries a lot, technologically they want to hit the countries a lot, investments that they want the country to hit a lot. So in all the areas the sanctions are being imposed. Now all the students who are watching me do understand this point, that you have to write the sanctions in the comment section, what sanctions are being proposed on Iran and what sanctions are there in North Korea. Please try to find out the sanctions on them and write in the comment section. I will correct it, okay, and tell you that whether they are right or wrong. I hope this is engaging session is very interesting to all of you. Do join my PSIR classes, mentorship and test series. Here is the details you can get from the number. You can connect to me, we'll have a demo session and we can go ahead. Okay, have a nice day. Stay tuned for more current affairs and update. I'm signing off, Syed Shujathullah. Take care. Have a great day.